Don't forget to hit the notification button, the subscribe button, and the like button. The like button lets YouTube know that you want to see more great videos from me.
Hello, welcome to Getting Fit and Cooking with KJ. So today I am going to be bringing you a cooking video of what I'm going to be having for dinner on today and also what I'm going to eat on today. So I currently had a taste for some pork chops. So I'm going to have some pork chops fried instead of using flour or almond flour or pork rinds. I'm going to be using the Isopure whey protein. And then I'm going to be having something that I love that's sometimes hard to find. So, because I went to my local HEB, I bet you don't know what this is. Green tomatoes. So I'm going to have some green tomatoes with some okra in it. And that will be my side. Plus I'm having cabbage. So hold on and we'll go ahead and get started cooking. And thanks for joining in. Alright, welcome back. So actually I'm going to be doing 4 of the tomatoes, of the green tomatoes. I'm just going to cut those up, put them in the bowl, and then we'll go ahead and we'll get started. Alright, so I did go ahead and cut up my green tomatoes. So this is what they look like in the bowl. Like I said, once I get back from my errand, then I'll go ahead and I'll add in, show you how I add in the okra, the almond flour, and then I'm also going to add some onion to it as well, and my seasonings. So in the meantime, because I said I'm going to be cooking cabbage, I decided to add a little bit of kielbasa sausage to it. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that up. And then I'm going to brown it. I like to fry my cabbage instead of just boiling it. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this up. And I'll use this as my meat in my cabbage. And then I'll do add a little bacon grease to it. So I'm just cutting this up so when I get back it'll be a lot easier. And I'll just put it in dinner first. Then my breakfast will be later on, and then I'll show you what I have for breakfast. Probably because I'm fixing enough of the tomato and okra, I'll probably just fix you some eggs with it and maybe just a little piece of sausage or maybe a little piece of the pork chop that I have left. So my sausage is cut up and ready to go, and once I get back I'll go ahead and show you what I'll be doing next. Alright, I am back from running my errand, and I am getting ready to go ahead and put my sausage on. This is going to be in my cabbage, which again was just a kielbasa sausage. And then I'm just going to go ahead and put a little bit. So if you're doing keto, that you have to, you're eating bacon and for the extra fat. So I have a little bacon grease thing. I'm going to add some of that to it. And I also have my skillet on for my tomato and okra as well. So I'm just going to put a little bit of that in there as well. And then I'm going to add some avocado. I'm just doing this portion of it for flavoring. And then I'm going to add some avocado oil to it as well. Alright, so here's my sausage that I just cut up. I'm going to just add it in here. Let it start to brown. So now I'm going to, so while that's starting to brown, go ahead and add a little bit of avocado oil. And I love cooking, and I'm going to show you, I love cooking with my cast iron skillet. Alright, so we'll go ahead and get started on showing you the cooking portion. Alright, so for this portion of it, I have my green tomato. That's what I cut up earlier. I have almond flour. I have pepper. I have my salt. A little bit of Slap Your Mama seasoning, extra kick. I have my bag of frozen okra. So what I'm doing is I'm going to go ahead and add in the okra to my tomatoes. Remember, my tomatoes are just green tomatoes and they're cut up. So this next part, as far as like the amount of okra, really just going to depend upon you as an individual how much okra you really want into it. So I did probably about 3/4 of the bag. I'm going to leave it here because I may decide I want to add a little bit more. And as you can hear, my sausage is already cooking already. So, and I've already got my cabbage already cut up, ready to go into it. All right, so for this, I'm going, and then I've cut up me one whole onion. And then I'm just going to start to season it, adding my seasoning. Black pepper. I like a lot of black pepper, so I'm probably going to end up having to add some more black pepper to this. And I'm making enough so I can have some for dinner later on tonight. Well, for my breakfast later on tonight. And then I'm making enough so I can have some for tomorrow as well. Once my side items are almost done, then I'll go ahead and cook my pork chop. I'll show you how I do my pork chop in the Isopure. Alright. There we go. And that one, so I'm going to cook it up just a little bit. Once I get this inside the oil and start cooking, then I'm going to cover it up. I need to add just a little bit more seasoning before I go ahead and start adding in the almond flour. Okay, that looks much better. So I think about the almond flour just like if I was using the cornmeal. I'm going to do it to coat it. Not a lot, but enough to coat it. That was 1/4 of a cup, and then I put a little bit more. So I'm going to stir it up first to see how, if it's still, I think it's going to be enough of a coating on it. I'm going to stir up my sausage over here. It's browning pretty good there for that one. Alright, I think I'm going to add just a little bit more. So, about 1/2 cup so far is what I've added. Just add a little bit more of the avocado oil. That's almost ready. So, here is my cabbage already cut up. That's just 1 head of cabbage. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add it to my pot. Remember, I want fried cabbage, so I'm not going to drain the grease or anything. So leave it in there. So, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to season with the same exact seasoning that I just used, that I'm using for my okra and tomato. I'm going to also use it to season for my cabbage as well. So, I'll just slap your mama, black pepper, some salt. I do like to take off a little bit of the sweet taste off of it, like to add a little sweetness to it. So I have monk fruit. Alright. Alright, and let me get a lid to put on here. Make sure that's cut down because it's on my high burner, so I'm going to make sure I cut that down a little bit more. And then I'm going to add just a little bit more to this one. I might use the bacon. This time I'm just add just a little bit of avocado oil to it. And I'll let that cook until it's tender, and then I'll take the lid off of it. All right, so let's see if this one is ready to start. I'm just gonna put a little bit in here. So I want my oil to be hot, but not overly hot either. Oh yeah, that's just right. Alright, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and dump this into the oven. Into my oven, into the cast iron skillet. So you're basically cooking this, the tomato to its tender and the okra is tender. So you can look and see what it looks like here cooking. So there is the okra and tomato, and here is the cabbage that's starting to cook as well. All right, well. Alright, so my cabbage is tender. Let a little bit more of the water drain out of it. And then I switched pans for the okra and tomato to a non-stick skillet from my cast iron skillet, because I want to put my pork chops in that big non-stick skillet. I'm sorry, my cast iron skillet. Alright, so it's just frying up a little bit more. It's going to get browner the more I let it sit here and cook. So I'll be back once it's ready. Alright, so I'm back and I'm ready to do my pork chops. Both. In my oil, I use olive oil and canola oil. I know it's not the best oils when you're doing keto, but that's what I have. So I have my Isopure, so I'm going to take 2 scoops of the Isopure. So I'm going to do it 2 different ways. I'm going to do one with the wash, an egg wash, and one without an egg wash. Then I'm going to take just a little bit of Parmesan cheese. And just a little bit of almond flour. Not a lot, just enough to just kind of separate it out. Alright. Then I'll mix those up together. So it's just a mixture of the almond flour. Alright, so I'm getting ready to do my pork chops here. Like I said, the first one is going to be with just the Isopure without an egg wash, and the next one will be with the egg wash. A little closer here for you. So I'm just going to make sure that it's coated really well, because my grease is already ready to go. I'm going to go back over to the other side again, just to make sure everything is well covered. And my okra and tomato is almost ready. It's browning right now. So make sure you get off in there really good. Alright. Alright, the first one is in the pan. And then I'll go ahead and do the second one. I've already seasoned them. I just seasoned them with salt, pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, and some Slap Your Mama. So the reason why I'm doing them 2 separate ways is because my husband doesn't like the extra coating, and I like the extra coating on mine. So pat it in there real good, make sure it gets off in all the little cracks on it. So if you notice, it still has that same texture, just like flour. Whoever, I forgot which group I was in, they were talking about using the Isopure. Oh my gosh, what a game changer. And then this is the okra and tomato. And it's getting more brownish. And then there's my cabbage that's already done. And I'll be right back so I can get the other 2 pork chops prepared and then get the egg wash ready for you. Look at that. Oh my God. So the first set of pork chops are out again. Remember, I just did these in the regular Isopure. And the next set I'm getting ready to do in the egg wash. Alright, so now I'm back to do the second set of pork chops that are going to be in the egg wash. So here's my egg wash that just has 1 egg yolk, some heavy whipping cream, and some water. So I'm going to add some more protein, the whey protein, to this mixture here. Just a little bit more of Parmesan cheese, and again just a little bit of the almond flour. Then I'm going to add some seasoning to this one because remember I'm getting ready to go do this egg wash. Which is the same seasoning I used before: salt, pepper, onion powder, garlic powder. Alright, so I did season my pork chops just a little bit. So I'm going to dip my pork chop into the egg wash. This is the part that gets really messy. Same thing as I did before. I'm going to pat it in really good. Exact same way. I'm not going to double dip them today, okay? I'm just going to do them just the regular way. This way uses a lot more of the Isopure than just doing the regular coating like I did on the first set. So there are my pork chops frying with the egg wash on them. So I'm going to go ahead and flip them over here. For the ones that are double, so it's a little, the batter is the crunchiness of it will be a little bit more, have a little bit more flake to it because of the egg wash. But definitely good. I'll be back once they're done. All right, well, dinner is served, and this is what it looks like. There's my pork chop, my cabbage, my okra and tomato, and then also some onion on the side. So that's dinner. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching me cook that fabulous meal because it sure was great. Loved, because I am from the country, you know I love those green tomatoes and okra. So don't forget to subscribe and to like. Hit the notification button. When you hit that like button, it lets YouTube know that you want more content. Don't forget to put in the comments below what you thought of the meal. If there's any ideas that you can have that you may want me to try to cook, just let me know. I appreciate you again for tuning in with Getting Fit and Cooking with KJ. Until the next time, don't forget that I ate it, I own it, now watch me lose it.